Hello, Art 1. This is your introduction to linear perspective. In this slideshow and presentation, you're going to be learning a bunch of new vocabulary as well as processes that relate to linear perspective, and I'll be showing you lots of examples. The intent is for you just to get an introduction to the process of linear perspective, and there is some draw along with me in these videos. So you have actually already experienced linear perspective, maybe not when you're drawing, but in your daily life. So for example, if you're walking down this set of railroad tracks, notice that all these edges all seem to be converging at this area, somewhere here. This example of a photograph uses linear perspective because all these edges of this walkway seem to converge and meet at this very tiny area. Paintings and drawings use linear perspective. This is what artists use in order to make a space look believable, not just with value and shading, but also just the placement of lines to create this sense of depth and space. This drawing here of a hallway submerged in water does also use linear perspective. The use of the lines and the shading and the use of space looks believable to us. It looks like what we would see in real life. And these drawings as well use linear perspective. There are actual hints in these images that we can actually figure out in order to know how did they use linear perspective. This painting here, this is a fresco painting on a wall located in Vatican City in Rome. This uses linear perspective because the way the placement of the buildings in the background, right, they appear to recede into the background. Things are getting smaller, which creates a sense of depth. But we know in real life that this is a flat painting. This is Leonardo da Vinci's most famous artwork titled The Last Supper. It is a mural located somewhere in Milan, Italy, and as well the use of linear perspective is being used because we see that there's this room that all these people are in, and there's this idea that there's something receding into the background, which would be the back wall of this room. So there are 6 ways to create the illusion of space in a flat drawing or painting. The first way is titled overlapping. So we're going to draw a couple things here. We're going to draw this circle. Okay, so we're going to place this circle in this space. Now we're going to place a second circle behind it, and we're going to draw this line in order to create the illusion that there's a sky and a ground. Now, due to the overlapping, this object appears closer. This one appears farther away because of the overlapping. The next one is called placement on paper. Depending on where you place the objects within your drawing or painting, you can make the illusion that there are things closer and farther away. So we're going to use those circles again. We're going to draw one circle here, but this time we're going to draw a circle up here. There is no overlapping, but because of the placement in this space here, this circle appears closer to us, this circle appears farther away. We drew this line here again to establish the sky and the ground. The third one is size. If you want to make something look closer, we typically make it look larger, right? It's bigger, it's probably closer to us. When it's smaller, it's likely farther away from us because that's what we would see in real life. So linear perspective often reflects what we see. So again, we're going to use 3 circles this time. We're going to draw a larger circle here. Then we're going to draw a smaller circle here and an even smaller circle there. So again, drawing this line here to establish the sky and the ground. This circle is closer, this circle is a little farther away, and this circle is the farthest away. The fourth method is using details, and you can actually find these in paintings. We even see it in real life, right? When you're looking out into the distance, things that are farther away, it's harder to see the details. So what we're going to draw here is a circle, and we're going to turn this into a happy face. So the details are easy to see because it is closer to us. Next, we're going to draw it again, but we're going to draw it a little bit smaller. You can still add the details, right? We can still see them. But if we draw it much smaller, one, it's kind of hard to draw the details, and it's a little harder to see. Now, let's create the illusion as if there is a sky and a ground, but this time we're going to add a little road just to create the illusion that these happy faces are receding into the background. The next one is color and value. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw a series of shapes. These are areas of land, right? If you've ever been hiking and you see a group of mountains or hills in the distance, the hills in the distance usually appear lighter in color. So let me show you an example. This example here is showing space and depth by using color and value. So these areas that are darker and it's becoming lighter, the areas that are darker are supposed to be closer to us, the viewer, and then the areas that are farther away appear lighter. And we typically see this in real life. The last one is linear perspective. This is the process we'll be learning for this unit. So what you're going to draw is a horizon line. This establishes the area between the sky and the ground. And we're just going to draw a box that looks three-dimensional. Now we're not using real linear perspective yet, but I'm just showing you how to draw a three-dimensional cube. Now let's continue on with our notes. So when we're looking at a drawing, a painting, a photograph, we see it as believable because of the point of view, right? We want to figure out where our point of view is within the drawing and painting. So here, this building looks believable because it's as if we are standing on the ground looking up at the building. So what is linear perspective? It is a system of creating an illusion of depth on a flat surface. Okay, linear perspective is creating the illusion of depth. All parallel lines in a painting or drawing using this system converge at a vanishing point on the composition's horizon line. We are going to take each part of this definition and break it into pieces. So artists use linear perspective in order to create a sense of depth, to make the space look believable, even when we know it's a drawing. So what illusion does linear perspective create? It creates the illusion of space, distance, and depth, right? That's what makes it's an illusion, because we know the drawing and painting is actually flat. But when linear perspective is used correctly, you can create a sense of depth, which makes the space in the painting look more believable. This is a concept digital painting from the movie Brave, and it's showing Merida's point of view at the archery tournament. It's using linear perspective because of the use of overlapping, placement, size, details, or lack of details. And we know this area is farther away. Because if we were to live in Merida's world, right, this is what we would see in real life in this scene. So linear perspective is a system of drawing, okay? Yes, you can break the rules. But for this unit, I'm teaching you this particular system of drawing, and it does take practice to understand. So linear perspective uses three basic parts, and it always uses a horizon line. That is the eye line. Wherever you are, you have a horizon line because you are a certain height, so that is the eye line. You may not always see the horizon line in real life because there's mountains and buildings and trees in the way. What is it and what does it do? It's the line at which the sky and earth appear to meet. That's our definition. What does it do? It establishes the viewer's eye level, which is the height of your eyes, right? It establishes the viewer's eye level for that drawing or painting. And some artists actually play around with the horizon line. Here's a great illustration. We can see the water, the sky. This is the literal horizon line in this illustration here. Here's that photograph of the train tracks. So according to all the other areas that I understand in this photo, this is the horizon line, right? According to the person that took this photo, that was their eye level. The next part is vanishing points. This is the point where converging lines seem to disappear. Do vanishing points exist in real life? No, they don't. We don't walk around seeing them. But when we use them in linear perspective, it helps us create the illusion of 3D with these buildings and architectural features that we'd be drawing. So again, we have a horizon line here, but now I've established where the vanishing point is, right? We can see the vanishing point. That is where all the converging lines, which are actually these, That's where they're all meeting up. The last part are converging lines. These are two or more lines that get closer and closer towards the end, which are basically the vanishing points. So this building here uses two vanishing points because we can see the corner and we can see those converging lines. Now, converging lines, do they exist in real life? Well, we could say that the edges of the buildings here and the lines in the road, those could be converging lines, but in a drawing, they just help us figure out where the edges are. And you can actually see converging lines used in these art examples. Now let's focus on one-point perspective. This is using only one vanishing point. So you're going to label and draw along with me. You're going to need a ruler, you'll need a pencil, and you'll probably need an eraser. So what we're going to do here is we're going to first establish the horizon line. We're going to put the horizon line somewhere towards the top, just so you have a lot of space to draw underneath. So I have drawn a horizontal line. That is our horizon line. Now, because this is one-point perspective, we're going to use one vanishing point. I'm going to place the vanishing point right in the middle. Don't make it too big. It's just a point of reference. And you need to make sure that the vanishing point is on the horizon line. Okay, so that's our vanishing point. Now, for some of you, this method will make sense right away. For others, you just need a lot of practice. So we're going to draw a box that uses one-point perspective. So we're going to draw the front of the box first. So to draw the front, we're going to use our ruler just to get some straight lines. So we're going to draw the bottom. Now we want to draw two parallel lines. And let's make sure our box is level in terms of height. Okay, so we need two parallel lines this way. We need two parallel lines that way. Now we're going to draw our converging lines. We're going to draw one converging line from this edge to the vanishing point, and keep the converging lines light because we're probably going to erase parts of them. And then from this edge to this vanishing point, we're going to draw another converging line. All right, looks like a house, but that's not one-point perspective. The next part is creating the back edge of this form. So I'm going to take my ruler. I lined it up with the top of my front square. I'm going to move the ruler up a little bit, make sure the line is parallel. I'm going to close off the back of that box. Now let's do a little bit of erasing. And let's darken in these lines here. And now you have created a box that's in one-point perspective. So let's just finish up the video with a couple visuals that use one-point perspective, just so you can see how it's actually being used in some drawings. So one-point perspective is a really great method to lead the viewer's eye towards something. In this composition here, it's the same setup that we did. There was a vanishing point right in the middle. The horizon line is somewhere here, and you can see all these converging lines that are meeting up in this one area. And there's some more examples. So the vanishing point is somewhere here, the horizon line is there, and you can see the converging lines. Vanishing point is up here. The vanishing point in this composition is actually somewhere outside, and the vanishing point is somewhere around here. Again, you can start recognizing it by the use of the converging lines.